Ferrari needs Hamilton. The pessimistic outlook of Lewis Hamilton emphasizes the magnitude of a problem with no near-term solution. The Mercedes F1 driver must realize that the season and any chance he had of achieving his title-winning goal is over. This begs the question, is Mercedes still the best fit for Lewis Hamilton as he seeks a record-breaking 8th world title? What other options does he have? Is picking a Ferrari the best option? The car may be able to produce fleeting periods of greatness like it did last year, but Hamilton and Mercedes are in this position now and will be for the foreseeable future. They aren't competing for wins right now, and it's quite unlikely that they will be in 2023 either. This does not mean giving up, but rather that a major adjustment is necessary. According to team principal Toto Wolff, the expectations were that they will compete for wins more frequently and close the gap, but that hasn't happened so far. This will make Hamilton reevaluate his career path. Those who know Hamilton say that every year he comes back more focused and hungry to win. With all the problems, improvements, and hopes for a huge bounce back, that surely would have been the case once again this year, but it hasn't turned out to be the happy ending many predicted. Mercedes needs better aerodynamic performance overall, and the team is also talking about mechanical balancing. There are multiple issues at play, despite the fact that the W14 only lacks downforce. Repairing this does not imply that the vehicle is of B-spec quality. Mercedes cannot afford to replace the chassis at this time. The journey from the current iteration to one that is superior enough in theory and practice to win races is much longer and more difficult, requiring a thorough redesign of the car's aerodynamic base. Mercedes understands crystal clear what they have done and why they ended up in a place which brings them no performance. If so, it will be a few more months before it translates into what Wolff describes as true performance for the Mercedes. There is hope for Hamilton in the long run, but it may not look that way right now. If this holds true, Mercedes may have a far more competitive car by the end of the season. Red Bull is speeding out towards the horizon, so Hamilton needs to move fast. Right now, however, there is very little to get excited about. Imola, which is still over 2 months away, will see the release of the first major package that was planned in advance and is not subject to any idea changes. Given the substantial investment in R&D already made towards such enhancements, it makes sense to keep developing them in order to get the most out of the current model, while major changes are being made in the background. The W14 is starting from a lower baseline than anticipated. Thus, even if they manage to make a few temperature improvements by Imola, which is highly unlikely, Hamilton will not have a race-winning car. Perhaps it could be enhanced, which would curb extremes in performance and emotions. Something more substantial will require more time. As the 2023 season progresses, it's possible that Hamilton's anger may subside. Despite the fact that Hamilton may have a better grasp on his situation, he is going through it raw for a reason and shouldn't be expected to hide it all the time. What if this marks the end of the road for the illustrious Hamilton-Mercedes lineup? So if not Mercedes, where could Hamilton go? Well, one very interesting and, as we'll see in a while, mouth-watering choice could be Ferrari. Hamilton's undying affection for Ferrari has been well documented for over a decade, but it seemed he would retire from racing without ever donning the famous red and white of Ferrari. However, there are two major obstacles that had to be resolved before Hamilton could make his shocking switch to Ferrari. First off, one of Ferrari's two drivers would have to leave the team, and rumor has it that it would be Charles Leclerc, who would then join Mercedes. Charles Leclerc has denied reports that he will leave Ferrari for Formula One rival Mercedes if the Scuderia is unable to produce championship-winning equipment, so this seems unlikely. In 2020, with Sebastian Vettel being phased out of his Ferrari driving position, Charles Leclerc signed a new 5-year contract to cement his position as the team's long-term top driver. The Monegasque driver led Ferrari's initial charge for the 2022 championship, but the team made several critical mistakes that ultimately doomed their chances. Leclerc has been regarded as a potential successor for Hamilton at Mercedes, with the driver market set to open up in the next few seasons, now that both Lewis Hamilton and Lando Norris will be out of contract. 2, and most importantly, is Ferrari the best choice right now for a title-chasing driver? It was visible that Ferrari was the 4th quickest car in Jeddah. Given the recent reorganization in Maranello and the team's history of reliability issues, this would be a risky step for Hamilton to make. However, the prancing horse has an animal magnetism for Hamilton and anyone else with F1 in their veins. Legendary F1 team boss Eddie Jordan believes Lewis Hamilton should look to go to another championship-winning team, following Mercedes' sluggish start to 2023. He says that in his opinion, Ferrari is the best choice because both F1 and Ferrari need Lewis Hamilton. He suggests that Hamilton should consider moving to another championship-winning team, but the drama is that there may not be an available seat for him. Red Bull may not let go of Sergio Perez for Hamilton, as they encourage drivers who have been through their teams to try and reach the top, like Max Verstappen did. While Hamilton is a McLaren man, Jordan does not see him going back there due to the position the team is currently in. The only other places Jordan sees Hamilton going are Ferrari or staying at Mercedes. As of the moment, Hamilton has not signed a contract, and Toto Wolff, the Mercedes team boss, has said that if he was Hamilton, he would consider leaving. Jordan questions whether Hamilton is truly loved at Mercedes and what is happening within the team. Although Jordan admits that he is not as involved in the sport as he used to be and does not know Wolff's point of view on the situation, he believes that Wolff wants Hamilton to stay, but the Mercedes car is not currently good enough for Hamilton. He says a swap between Charles Leclerc and Hamilton would be mouth-watering. Now that would be interesting, he added. Charles Leclerc is very much a Mercedes type of driver, and to see Leclerc and George Russell fight it out would be great. That could be a deal in heaven. I know Leclerc quite well as a person and he's magnificent, but so is Hamilton, so who is to say it would be any different? I'm sure everyone in F1 would love to see a swap between Hamilton and Leclerc. That would be mouth-watering. When I dream of Hamilton going to Ferrari, it is just a thought because he has won 7 World Championship titles with Mercedes, so he might want to stay. Then again, all the great drivers would feel the pull of a great team like Ferrari. That's where I think Hamilton should end up. Having dedicated his prime to Mercedes, he is free to leave the team without guilt. It would be fitting for his extraordinary career to end with a season or 2 spent racing for Ferrari. After all is said and done, Ferrari may not have the quickest car on the grid, and is probably not the most reliable, but it is still Ferrari. But there is no reason to suppose Mercedes will lose interest in preserving their talisman in the future, and Hamilton has explicitly stated that he has many more seasons left in him. So long as Hamilton maintains hope that he may win a record 8th world title, his drive and determination will remain undimmed. Mercedes is fortunate to have Lewis Hamilton and Toto Wolff as a dynamic duo. Nothing can change the reality that the RB19 is an engineering wonder unless Hamilton, Mercedes and its backers are hiding something. In 2023, it will be extremely difficult, if not impossible, to defeat Red Bull. Still, prospects appear to be improving. Mercedes has announced a dramatic strategy shift similar to that of Dan Fallows and Aston Martin in an effort to more closely resemble Red Bull. It will require time and patience on Hamilton's behalf, but he still has a chance to win a record 8th title. This potentially disastrous alliance is revived. Hamilton may be putting off re-signing in order to see how much of an increase the expected update actually provides for the car. He complained openly about the W14's handling and said that his suggestions for improving the vehicle were ignored. At the end of the current season, Lewis will have to make a tough choice. What do you think? Can Lewis Hamilton leave Mercedes to try out for the prancing horse? Or will he stay in Mercedes and maintain his strong relationship with the Silver Arrows and Toto Wolff? Let us know your thoughts and opinions in the comments below, and see you next time.